without them, but
And now we have the final game starting. Final match starting.
alright, so Kindmime's opening hand here, no Ruby, but he does have the Immortal Tears, the card that's been basically a shard all day for everyone through the whole tournament. How many Immortal Tears total? How many decks with Immortal Tears total did we see, Tech?
Oh, great job putting me on the spot, huh?
Yeah, I know you like it.
Put me on the spot. So we have 41 out of 152, I believe.
Yeah. So about a third of the decks, a little less than a third of the decks fielded Immortal Tears, and here we are in the finals. There is one, and it's particularly good in the hand that he's running. Cleverboy putting a troop underground. What troops does he have to tunnel, JJ?
So we saw the Wakizashi, and we also have Monsoon that it could be as well. Could theoretically be Fisher Smith, but probably not likely there.
They're not.
And also,
they're not on his list, are they? Oh, they are.
Yeah, they're on there. And
Yeah,
also
well, I mean,
has
he clearly wouldn't tunnel a Fisher Smith.
Yeah, I mean that just doesn't. Yeah, I mean in theory it could be, but yeah, probably not. And he also has the scrap tech roller there that it could be as well. So with Blood and Ruby, there are just a lot of options that tunneler could be. We don't see a turn 2 play from Kindmime. Just ships it back to Cleverboy, who also does not have a turn 3 play. And for Kindmime's turn, with a Shard and the Stink Troll.
Yeah, the Stink Troll is pretty strong here, although it is a great target for Wakizashi to pop up and chew down on. The Samurai Quick Kill.
So we need. So on the topic of Stink Troll, we need to make a request to Hex Entertainment. So like whenever a Stink Troll like high fives another Stink Troll, there needs to be like a special sound effect.
Yeah, they need to turn into a new card. Yeah, so hard playing that Wakizashi. It's a pretty good indication, I guess, that the underground troop isn't a Wakizashi, because otherwise it'd be popping up soon. Although it could still be. Kindmime considering whether or not he wants to put down that Wrathwood Master Moss, just in case, because Wakizashi does cripple it quite heavily, in addition to the Zerid Champion power and all others. But there it is. The Wrathwood comes down, Scrap Tech comes up, puts Clever to 7 resources for the turn, which might mean we see. There's the Ruby Shard. Are we going to see Zakir? Are we going to see the scariest? No, we're going to see Crackling Rot. Crackling Rot taking that Wrathwood Master Moss down to 3/3, and then likely a Crackling Bolt. There it is. That removes the Wrathwood Master Moss pretty effectively, because even when it comes back as the 2/2 Mossling, the permanent -2/2 for Crackling Rot stays there. And now Cleverboy is swinging in with those potential tunneling troops, getting 4 damage in a turn. And Kindmime is not exactly holding a good defense against that. He can remove one of them. It is worth noting, though, that sometimes things happen like that. Is Cleverboy out of the removal necessary to make a comeback here? I think he has to remove that Gore Master now, if I'm doing the math correct, but without a Crackling Vortex, it might not be that destructive. It is a pretty big deal here.
Yeah, if he has the removal, I'm 100% that he's using it here.
Well, he's choosing to use just the Zerid power. So let's see. That's 3 charges, Crush, and Lionel Charge power. So the Lionel Charge power first. So 3 to 6. to 12 to 24 crush, and then the boulder toss is still live. No, the boulder toss is not still live past that. So this is game, I think. That Core Master is just too much on its own most times, I think. Yeah, I think you Crackling Bolt pre-combat here.
Should he have Crackling Sprouted first?
No, because the charge power is free. Or Crackling Sprouted before he put down the shard. Yes,
Yeah,
I think that is the. I think that is the way to do it. I don't think it matters. This this line still ends with the 28 power. Yeah, but you always sprout before you do something else, I believe is the math on it. Yeah, and Chad is actually going on there.
Yeah, shows these saying the same thing. Yeah, it doesn't end up mattering. It's enough regardless.
Yeah, but for those of you at home, the proper play was there. So Kindmime, the math teacher, doing his math wrong. Let's just poke fun at him. This is just a friendly reminder that teachers and professors are not perfect and should probably stop acting like it. Michael Allen, just once in your life, could you act like you're not perfect, please? So beastly. That Gore Master is terrifying.
Yeah, we see yet another combo kill from the Gore Master here. So much damage.
Really brutal, though, that the top deck Gore Master does that. Like, that was a top decked Gore Master. He finds it there. He puts it onto the board and happens to have the set pieces already.
Okay, they're in reserves now.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is game 2 going into the Diamond Cup Finals. This is potentially the last game of the tournament. Will Kindmime take down the tournament after placing top 8 in 2 subsequent tournaments, or is this going to be a big comeback from Cleverboy? Cleverboy does get to choose who goes first and second here.
Back to the reserves again.
Probably just unloading and loading back up the deck builder to make sure there's no bugs. I'm not really sure.
Okay, and here we go for game 2.
Well, there would certainly be temptation to keep that. I mean, anything you draw into should be gas there. But a 6 shard opening hand is not what you want.
Yeah,
Did Cleverboy choose to go second? Or oh no, he's already chosen to go first. And okay, that was a little weird. I just think there should be notifications on what your opponent does in the most stage. So this is a little bit better of a hand here. The Arborian Rootfather can, of course, be tossed back into the deck for 2 resources to draw another card. And these Shards of Savagery and Wild Shards, Ruby Shards, they all kind of add up to perfect thresholds for Kindmime here.
Yeah, this one feels like a nice, much better hand than the first one. So Cleverboy plays the second Ruby here, doesn't have the blood, at least on the first 2 turns.
Yeah, a little awkward here. Might have kept a strong 3-shard hand, just all with Ruby, hoping to find that blood threshold somewhere down. Of course, no play from Kindmime yet, and being on the draw here, he is going to be a little slower off. I have to wonder if at end of turn he's going to throw this Root Father back in. It's the only Root Father he has, so it's not like he's in trouble of finding another one, I think. And he gets it. He does it, I meant to say. And here we go. Yeah, it's going to be the Shard of Savagery to find a second wild shard here. And now everything is up and running for both players.
Well, Cleverboy's still on the 3 Ruby. Still needs to find the blood over there.
Yeah, and he's passing turns, 7 cards in hand, no blood. That can get out of hand very quickly if Kindmime's board state evolves, especially with those Gore Masters with so much potential and all the rest of the huge damage-dealing troops he has, things like the Wrathwood Master Moss, a 5/5 for 4. When it dies, it transforms into a Mossling, a 2/2 for 4, that when it deals damage will turn back into a Wrathwood Master Moss, the recurring dream. Clever finds a 4th shard. It is another Ruby. He tunnels a troop here. I think it's probably safe to bet on that being a Fishersmith, but
Yep.
I wonder if that's enough to stop the Wrathwood Master Moss from attacking here. I suppose he can buy a turn and let it go by. It could be a Scrap Tech Brawler. Absolutely could be a Scrap Tech Brawler. But it is the Fishersmith. And Fishersmith pops up, hasn't done its job. Now it's just a 2/1 on the board. There's the Blood Shard, though. Cleverboy finds one off the top. The rest of his hand probably becomes unlocked at that point. I don't know if he's running any double blood threshold cards.
Yeah, there are some double blood. We've got the maybe actually, yeah, we have Isiodor on here. So yeah, there's at least a few.
Oh, and another tunnel troop from Clever here. Potentially a second Fishersmith, which trying to bait out the attack from the Master Moss. Even if it's not a Fishersmith, it could be, which might be enough to stop Kindmime. We'll see what happens here. He's pulling a troop off the top here. Pretty good for him. Just the ability to, again, further develop the board state in a situation where that's all he really needs to do. Basically, every little advancement he gets is a bonus when your opponent is playing small troops like Fishersmith. So there's the first tunneling counter going down onto that troop, meaning it's not a Fishersmith. So the lack of attack from the Wrathwood Master Moss was slowing it down here. The Wakizashi Ambusher played hard from the hand. Going to give -2/-2 to the Stink Troll. In response, Kindmime will use its 0-cost one-shot effect to give Crush to the Wrathwood Master Moss. Zero reason not to, honestly. And then a -1/-1 from Zared there. I guess that would be so the double block here will be enough? Or just to slow it down. Hard to say. Oh. And Kindmime going big here, putting the Stink Troll down, and because the Wrathwood still has +1/+1 from the previous... Sorry, because it still has Crush from the previous Stink Troll, the +1/+1 is not applying correctly. Yep. The Stink Troll appears to have applied only the attack to the Wrathwood Master Moss. That should be an 8/5 Wrathwood Master Moss right now. I mean, we might need to get Zubin in there for that one. If they want to judge calling here, this was 5 minutes ago, so I'm sure he'd have been called already. Cleverboy not seeing the bug here. It does really change the way this board goes. So it looks like 5 minutes in the future they haven't called a judge here. So the bug appears to be known in the forums. So I guess the players are just working out how this is going to go. Kindmime swings in here. Very obviously, if both the Fisher-Smith and the Wakizashi block here, I think it would actually kill that Wrathwood and make it a Mossling, which would obviously be not what was the desired effect here. Looks like Cleverboy is just going to put the one Wakizashi in front, though. That crush damage will go over for 7. I think that's actually... It's not game, but that's pretty close to just being it. The Boulder Toss and Crackling Bolt are just about enough damage here. Clever sees it as 8-5. I believe Clever is just saying that it should be 8-5. It's not visual only. Yeah. So here comes a Crackling Rot onto... Oh, he's giving it Double Crush. Obviously that doesn't do anything. Double Crush is not a thing. But, but that appears to have fixed the bug, so that's good to know. So the Stink Troll dies to the Crackling Rod, going back to 7-4. 7-4 with Crush, and shows he tunnels another troop. If that's not a Fisher-Smith, this could be rough. If it is a Fisher-Smith, I assume Clever would attack with his own Fisher-Smith here.
Yeah, I think you attack with the Fisher-Smith just to signal that it is a Fisher-Smith that you've tunneled there.
Well, yeah, I mean, that could be the big play there. That being said, if it's not a Fisher-Smith, if that is a Wakizashi ambusher underground, which you have to assume it is because of the original block, then things might be out of hand here. Maybe just swing with the Master Moss to see what happens, because even if it is a Fisher-Smith, it is a Fisher-Smith. The Wrathwood Mossling comes back, and it's not attacking. It's just sitting on the board for now. And a Boulder Toss could quickly turn it back into a Wrathwood Master Moss if needed. This is pretty crazy.
The double bluff.
The double bluff, yeah. Kindmime putting down Jags here because, of course, another troop played here could, any troop at this point could be enough with the cards he has in hand. And he still holds up the resources necessary for Boulder Toss.
So note that tunnel counter goes to 3.
Yep, so that is Monsoon then? I believe is the only 4 tunneling troop that is in Cleverboy's deck. The Wakizashis would have popped on 3, and the Scrap Techs would have popped on 3. So everything that has died since that troop was tunneled, it might be coming back. Crackling Bolt being played here on the Mossling. Gonna throw a boulder. I don't think this works the way you want it to. It does. I'm sorry. I thought it was already -2'd. So he throws a boulder, deals 4 damage to Cleverboy's face. Because the Mossling has dealt damage, it turns back into the Master Moss. So it becomes a 7-4, takes 3 damage, and goes to 7-1. This is effective. It doesn't come back into play though, so it isn't inspired by Jags. But if the Master Moss dies, the Mossling does come into play. It's a very awkward interaction. I think we're about to see the bug again, actually. If I had to be, yeah. That Stink Troll once again bugging out. The Stink Troll does get double damage from Jags the Blade Master, so that's worth noting. There is a thing there.
So checking to see what troops would come back.
No, and if when the Mossling turns back into the Master Moss, it never leaves and enters play. When the Master Moss dies and comes back as a Mossling, it does leave and enter play. There's a difference there. So it looks like it was a third Fisher Smith. Wow. Also, still awkwardly, the Mossling just not getting the bonus from the Stink Troll here. Very, very significant. Hopefully it doesn't play any difference out into the game, but the Fisher Smith is going to pop up. It looks like Kindmime, a little bit of a snap reaction there. Is just going to give Crush to Jags. And there's that Stink Troll, the Fisher Smith entering play multiple times for every troop that was attacking. Yeah, it's weird because if they're both in play at the time, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. It's weird. Now, all those Fisher Smiths are dying, but it doesn't matter because this turn is going to be big for Cleverboy. Up pops Monsoon, Shogun of the Windajin, all of the logs that had appeared when Fisher Smiths and Wakizashi Ambushes had died pops back up. The Wakizashi re-entering play finally gets rid of that Wrathwood Master Moss. Dishonorable Death moves the Stink Troll, and the troops that came into play from Monsoon this turn can't attack this turn. Monsoon himself can. A 3/3 with Rage 2 is going to throw in. Hex Havoc is talking in chat, saying if he had played Jags before risking the attack, he would have had Fatal now. That is not correct. I don't believe that is correct. The Mossling does not... When the Mossling turns back into the Master Moss, it does not get inspired. But I might just be crazy.
It's a card. It's a card being transformed. It's not entering play.
Yeah, Havoc might be talking about a much earlier play, though.
See another Monsoon here, just to add some more pressure to the board.
I don't think there's anything Cleverboy can do to get back out of this.
You mean Kindmime?
No, Cleverboy's done. He's only got 3 Fisher Smiths, a Monsoon, and a Wakizashi on the field. How could he possibly get out of this?
Got it. Okay.
Both players are at 7. It's not a burn to the ground, which would have cost him the game anyway, because it would have been illegal. But there you go.
Probably the closest would have been Cannon Volley, but that wasn't enough either in that spot.
Just barely wasn't enough.
Yeah, it looks like Cleverboy does play a couple copies of Cannon Volley.
Can you switch to the bracket real quick here, Tech?
All right, there's the bracket.
So one of the strengths we saw there was pretty interesting. With so many playable tunneling troops in this Blood Ruby deck, it's hard to know for sure which one that you're playing around. Sometimes you
Looks like we just lost JJ mid-sentence there.
Yeah, continuing JJ's point, with 4 types known in this deck? We have the Futuresmith, the Wakatashi Ambusher, the Scrap Tech Brawler, and Monsoon. So
it really could be, you have to keep track of the counters, and it could really be anything. Finals are best out of 3. Are you still there, Tech?
Yep.
Oh, you just gotten really quiet.
Yeah, so just with that many tunnel troops, it's really playing that bluffing game of, alright, is that a Futuresmith? Is that a Monsoon? What is it? If you just see one come down at like a specific time, you just have to take your chances to attack or not.
Looks like Kindmime is keeping a rather bland hand here. This is a little bit. Oh, I hope we're back on the game screen by now. The hand here only has a little bit of gas. Does have all the thresholds necessary. Does have a crackling vortex, so a single Gore Master is still always scary, but it doesn't have anything to draw out. Draw out any sort of removal here, so the Gore Master would just be subject to the removal itself. Draws another shard. Pretty rough for him here. Cleverboy did play a Ruby resource again, so we have to wonder if he's kept another non-blood hand. There's a second Ruby shard, so potentially another risky keep by Cleverboy. We will see, I'm almost positive we will see a turn 3 Stink Troll here, though. Just to try to put some pressure onto the board, because as we've seen, Kindmime just needs to get a little bit of damage through in any of these games.
Cleverboy plays a third Ruby shard, so
yeah,
that's concerning.
That's gotta be that, hey, I just don't have blood, and almost all of his removal is focused in on that blood. That could be a Fishersmith, though. It could always be the Fishersmith. The lack of Crackling Bolt is kind of a thing. Always a little worrisome here.
So Kindmime plays out Jags, the Blade Master.
Yeah, that's a pretty good draw off the top for him here. Now he can push more damage through. One counter goes on and the Fishersmith pops up. No matter what happens here, though, I think Cleverboy could put another tunneling troop underground, and we wouldn't, you can never be sure if it's the Fishersmith until it has that tunneling counter on it. Here comes a Crackling Bolt straight up just to remove Jags. No reason for Stink Troll to put Crush on it because Kindmime doesn't have a way to get it out of the grave. So does he swing with the Stink Troll here? No, he passes off the priority. And it looks like Cleverboy is kind of sitting in the driver's seat, at least for a little bit here. That was Cleverboy's turn passing off, not Kindmime's. I'm just completely phased out of that for some reason. We will probably not see an attack from Stink Troll anyway, though. And I still believe that Cleverboy's sort of in the driver's seat here. No, he has time to buy to get his Blood Shard, and that seems to be a big deal here. Doesn't find a shard at all, or anything to play, and instead passes it back to Kindmime. Kindmime needs to find some gas here. He's got a lot of shards in hand. Here's probably the most disadvantageous time to find an Immortal Tears. Granted, he will be able to use that to find another shard from in his deck and thin it out. It does him no good on this side of the board right now. That deck thinning is quite minimal in a 60-card deck.
Yeah, so it's been 2 turns now that the Futuresmith and the Stink Troll are just eyeing each other, just staring each other down.
Yeah, so there's that Immortal Tears being popped. Doesn't matter what shard he finds, I don't believe, so he just chooses a Ruby. let's see what he draws this time. Another shard again. It's just so brutal for him here. He doesn't have anything to actually find out, to actually ramp that high into anymore. He can play the Arborean Root Father if he finds a Gore Master, and he's probably going to put it down onto the board here. I can't imagine he doesn't. All in all, though, a little bit. I mean, this could be too late now. Like Cleverboy might have an answer, might be able to put down a Fisher Smith again. He's got 7 cards in hand.
Make that 8.
Yeah, well, 8 when he draws. He finds the Shard of Hatred, chooses Blood, opens up the world of removal that I'm sure he's got held onto. A Wakizashi Ambusher off the top means Stink Troll will probably be going bye-bye. And if not that, it'll be Gore Master and the Charge Power. And it will be, which means that Kindmime can use Stink Troll's Charge to make it a little bit bigger. So now it doesn't get removed by Zerod's Charge Power, but it is a 0-2 now as opposed to a 2-4. Still going to use Zerod's Power there. Now a -1-1. That is relevant here. Looks like he's going to use that Charge Power on the Gore Master anyway. Wow. That brings it to 2. It's not enough. It's not enough quite yet.
It's not enough to kill this turn, but it is enough to be scary, that's for sure.
Yeah, had he not used Zerid, I believe it would have been 24 crush damage, which was enough. As it stands, it's going to be 16. He's going to play Crackling Bolt. Cleverboy will have to... Well, I mean, Cleverboy doesn't have resources to play around Boulder Toss here. Shows and he says it is. He forgot the -1 from Zerid, so it's actually 16. When you put a charge on a -1 attack, the master does double the -2. It should. I mean, it doesn't, but it should. So here we go. He swings in for a potential 14, a potential 16 damage. I don't think... Well, wait. Should he have attacked with Stink Troll there as well?
I think if I'm Cleverboy, I would have only blocked with 1 troop there regardless. And it did allow Cleverboy to make the mistake of blocking with both, because he still ends up dying if he has Crackling Bolt. If Kindmime has Crackling Bolt here off the top.
Nothing changes if he has Crackling Bolt, and he still has, I believe, 3 more to find in the deck. No other quick ways of getting damage through. He is going to have to pass that turn. Those Boulder Tosses aren't going to be a thing here. My sweet Baxter, not a big fan of the Gore Master. So let's see. There's a Tunnel Troop. It could be the start of a monsoon. We see a Wild Shard. This run of shards for Kindmime, not really where you got it.
Very interesting that he chooses to tunnel a card and not hard cast it. That's
the board.
Play it.
Yeah, hard play it.
Well, I mean, you got to put Master Moss onto the board unless you're gonna hold out for, like, specifically a Boulder Toss here. So now Boulder Tosses and Crackling Bolt live, unless Cleverboy chooses to use a ton of those cards to get rid of the Master Moss here. He is just going to tunnel another troop. If that's all he does this turn, it has to be a Fisher Smith. Like, no doubt about that. So many outs here for Kindmime. Is this game 3?
This is game 3.
This is game 3 of the finals of the Diamond Cup. Winner take all. Maybe. I hope it is. Now that I've said that. Really should have those up in front of me, just like written down whether or not somebody's won yet. Yeah, it's 1-1. Shosny reminds me. Thank you, Shosny.
That was a curious play.
Yeah, I'm not too sure why the Crackling Bull was played other than to get to 4 charge powers to use it on the Master Moths.
But it doesn't change anything. Either you play around Fisher Smith.
I guess he wanted. Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't seem to do anything there.
Like if you wait until this turn, you can actually kill off the.
He might have done it just to try to bait the attack. Dishonorable death.
Yeah, I think that he already. Cleverboy made the decision that I think he already had answers to it if he was to survive that turn.
Well, hopefully that doesn't come back to bite him.
Oh, there it is. The one of Arborean Rootfather comes into play. Direct damage and speed. 8 damage to the face. After topping so many shards, it's hard to call that a lucky top deck, but it still feels like a top deck. Good games. Kindmime takes down the tournament. And the Diamond Cup goes into his favor. Congratulations to all the players. Prizes will be going out within half an hour or so. We'll just make Mike do that as quickly as possible. So hopefully we can see Kindmime and maybe Cleverboy in the chat say a couple of words, speak up about the games. Those are pretty close games, came down to the wire.
Yeah, really interesting match to watch here. Definitely a lot of interplay between the two decks.
Oh, Zubin already sent out prizes to some people.
Zubin's on top of it.
He's on top of things. Well, congratulations, Kindmime. Thank you to all the people playing. That's probably going to be it for us tonight. Once again, you guys can go and take a look at 5shards.com for all the statistics and deck lists available. Here's the final look at the brackets. The first round went in Cleverboy and Shosny's favor, then Wolzarg and Kindmimes as they took down their respective opponents. We had a little bit of a hiccup in the match between Future and Wolzarg, but things seem to have been resolved. Wolzarg getting knocked out by Kindmime, who went the 7th seed, going all the way up there to face the 1st seed. And the 1st seed and 7th seed in the finals crash into each other, and in a very close best of 3, Kindmime takes it down.
Yeah, really enjoyed watching it. Kindmime had some clever side reserve work in this matchup as well too. And especially in the semifinals, that was really interesting to watch there.
Yeah. So once again, huge thank yous to everyone who played. Thank you to everyone who participated and worked with us behind the scenes. Thank you, JJ, Mike, and Technophi. This was the Diamond Cup presented by Technophi Fum. These are his packs you guys are having. Which probably means they're a little less lucky than usual. My bad. Technophi, how did this tournament run? Did this meet your expectations for a Set 2 constructed tournament?
Yeah, it was really interesting to see the mechanics of Set 2 really play out, especially in the top 8, with all these charge pumping powers of Gore Master and all these quick actions that gave you charges that played off that. And then in the last game with Cleverboy with all the tunneling troops, playing that guessing game, is that a Fuser Smith or not, Monsoon with its interplay effects. It really shows off Hex Set 2 to the fullest, I guess.
Yeah. JJ, did you have a good time through the tournament? Any highlights you wanted to share? Things that you thought were next level big plays?
I mean, definitely the best moment of the tournament had to be seeing the Outlaws there, all four of them at the same time from Future. That's
Only
got to
needed
be the spot
only
of the
needed
tournament.
3, but having all 5 made it a little sweeter.
That was
All 4,
pretty
sorry.
awesome to see that happen. Overall, it was definitely I think most people probably knew Goremaster coming into it, and it lived up to the hype. I mean, it was probably the card of the tournament, even though Crackling Bolt was the most played card in the whole tournament by a long shot. Goremaster was good enough to get there anyway. So, congrats to Kindmime as well for making it top 8 and winning this time around. And yeah, I think it was a lot of fun to watch this one.
Yeah. So once again, thank you everyone for coming out. You all have a fantastic afternoon, evening, or morning, depending on where you are. Huge shout outs to the top 8. And you guys all stay classy and stay lucky.